Good afternoon. My name is Alon Pillay. I am a undergraduate student at the University of Denver studying marketing. And today I'm going to be talking about the third session that I attended on my fourth day here at South by Southwest. And the title of this session was Thriving in an Age of Hyperconnectivity. And this was part of the 2050 track. So sessions in this track really look towards the far out future and are more often opinion based. Um, Granted, they're educated opinions from experts in their field, but again, a lot of what is said is still up for interpretation. As we can never know what's going to happen in the next 25 years. So we can't tell the future, but we can certainly ask some really smart people what they think it might look like and how we should prepare. And two of the featured speakers in this were Dave DeWalt, who is the CEO and founder of NightDragon, and then Kevin Lynch, who is the CEO of Optiv, both cybersecurity companies, and then Barbara Fast, who works for the DoD, and Ed Cardone, who is a cybersecurity specialist. And this was again, as I said, this was a really far outreaching sort of just conversation about where we're going in terms of cyberspace and what it's going to look like and how we are going to be able to protect ourselves in a world where we are all completely connected and inseparable from each other. That means businesses, consumers, governments, everything. And one of the scary things that they were talking about was sort of that in the United States, especially between red and blue, we are extremely polarized. And we've seen the rise of social networks that are created for one side or the other, and we've just seen these this coagulation of people centered around these ideas, and these groups are becoming larger and larger and more powerful, and as technology becomes more and more democratized, and as these groups become bigger, they could have access to very damaging technology eventually. And this really comes down to the idea of hacking, and people's data privacy. What really didn't shock me, but still had a big impact on me, and especially being involved and interested in the cybersecurity space. He said, Ed Cardone had said, there's nothing that cannot be hacked. There's nothing on Earth that cannot be hacked through some method, whether it be human interaction or computer interaction. And we keep increasing these threats of or these insider threats, for example, in companies, and people who are on the inside who are who can easily access information from the inside is really a big issue here, and there's not a lot we can do to thwart that at the moment. And then they had also discussed the rise of these hacktivist influencers, which we've seen over the past decade, attacking Visa, MasterCard. What's another example that I can think of off the top of my head? I can't think of one right now, but there have been a lot of these, hacktivist influencer pop-ups where, and these are not individual actors, these are tons and tons of people, possibly hundreds, we don't actually know, but that will plan something completely encrypted so nobody knows what's going on, group together, destroy something or hack something, and then poof, disappear completely. And essentially, what they had envisioned for the future is that, a lot of these coalitions, these like coagulated groups of really of people with really strong opinions will be able to enlist these hacktivist influencers to attack organizations, to attack people. And this is something that I believe could definitely be the case. And they didn't really talk about it. And I'm not 100% sure what is really stopping people right now. I think part of it is businesses are doing a good job of protecting us at the moment, but or they're doing everything they can, I think, but eventually it won't be enough if they keep going at the current snail's pace that they are progressing in terms of cybersecurity. And another thing that they predicted that I thought was really scary was that, we might be trading off redundancies for efficiency. So, in a lot of systems, right, like especially servers, they have redundancies. So like if something gets shut down, another wall gets put up, right? Well, when you have all those walls, it takes time to take them down and bring them back up. Especially when everything's working just fine, or let's think about it like gates, like the Suez Canal, for example. Like it takes time to open all those gates and let a single ship through, even on a regular working day. And so eventually we're going to get really tired of those gates and we're going to start removing, 2-3 gates. And eventually we're only going to have one gate. And when that gate goes down, we're screwed. And so that's basically what they were saying. And I really agree with that. But, another thing was that every time mankind unlocks a new, every time mankind unlocks a new domain, space, land, water, cyberspace now, there's always conflict that arises. And cyberspace is the newest one, and we haven't figured out how to live peacefully in cyberspace yet. And, I think that's kind of where the conversation ended. But personally, I think one thing that's the problem is there's probably not enough expertise in the government. And there needs to be better education about what exactly cyberspace is and where we're headed. More people need to know the perspectives of these futurists during this conversation, in a way to scare us, but also just to prepare us for, some changes that we might have to make because, like with advertising, they're cracking down on data privacy and, some major changes are going to be made. But I think businesses also have a really big responsibility to do this because right now they're holding most of our data. And, we sometimes think that, governments might be our first line of defense, but really we're in such a vulnerable position. Businesses are really our first line of defense. And so I think businesses have to stay really impartial, especially in terms of politics, which can be hard, but they really have to because as these polarized groups, might be attacking certain businesses, it could be possible that other businesses will attack other businesses. We don't know, but they have to stay in the middle and act as, a layer of layered defense for this. So I thought this topic was really interesting, but there was a lot that I didn't fully understand. But I did definitely get a lot out of it. So thanks.